Hello, recon here, and welcome back to Combat Mission Cold War. We are continuing the Czechmate scenario, where we are the Russian Motor Rifle Division, 18th Motor Rifle Division, and we're pushing in on the American-held Czech border as we attempt to find a route that the main forces can use to flank the main American defences. And we are at a momentous junction. So after 1 hour and 8 minutes of game clock, we're now in a position to actually build an assault on the final objective, labelled Nehus ad Eger, just there, which is huge. So last episode we spent, was the first time we got the majority of our armed forces across the bridge, just down here, which had been a massive struggle for the entire game time up until that point. The Americans and their horribly efficient ATGMs causing us lots of problems, but we have broken out now. Rover Bridge, we're starting to be able to apply our kind of weight of numbers and kind of have our assault on mass type doctrine employed. So what is the general plan going to be? So we have essentially kind of two groups that we're working with. We've got one section of 4 tanks here, so these 3 and then 1 lagging slightly at the back of our T-62s. They are supported by an infantry platoon, so the intent will be the infantry platoon will sweep through the woods on the left here, and then through this little bit wooded section on the right here. Just make sure there's no nasty Americans waiting for to hit us with dragons or laws. And also allow us hopefully to do a little bit of scouting when we reach the edge. Then they will obviously push up and destroy any hard targets or any significant infantry resistance that we might encounter if they are holed up in buildings. And then on the other flank, slightly thinner on the ground, we've only got 2 tanks over the bridge at the minute. And we don't have any infantry support with these guys, but we do have a large number of BTRs. So the general plan is going to be to use the BTRs to essentially screen these woods on the right, where we know there are American forces, and I'm pretty confident we're going to end up losing some of these things. But the intent will be these guys can kind of screen, hopefully identify and engage infantry. Failing that, they can identify by way of receiving fire, and then that'll allow us to then engage with other BTRs and the other tanks. But either way, we're kind of protecting our tanks. We do have a final 2 tanks sitting in the back here. These guys are providing overwatch for the ATGM position up here, which the Americans have been using very efficiently with their Bradley cavalry recon vehicle, which is standard Bradley but carries more anti-tank munitions. And then finally, last but by no means least, we have our reserve platoon of infantry. So the plan will be, once the tank platoon of infantry have secured essentially up to this area, just on the edge of town, this reserve platoon of infantry will come in, deposit their lads, and then they will start to sweep through the town itself. And at that stage, we're going to redirect our armour as required. That's the general plan anyway. We'll see how it goes. As ever, no plan survives contact with the enemy. A couple of things, tweaks I've made just in between videos. Well, firstly, if I spin all the way around here, we did have one tank which was kind of lurking on its own back here, who one point back in the day had been using to provide some overwatch against this valley, where there was a Bradley at one point. Obviously that position is no longer required, so I'm going to bring him round to the front and use him probably to bulk up this position. And then the only other tweak we've really made is I'm going to take the automatic grenade launcher, which has some ammo left, and push him over to support this infantry platoon who are trying to get some identification on the Americans within these woods. And I think that's the only changes. I think last time I loaded up an infantry squad into a BTR, which we made over here. I'm also going to chuck in a light machine gun, and then that'll just bolster the forces, which we then can use to push into the town itself proper. One thing I do want to talk about, it's probably going to be more relevant next minute than this minute's coming up, is this Bradley here. So that's our first target that we want to deal with. He's currently hiding behind a house. My intent, of which we've got overwatch on our other tank over here. So if we spin down, drop down to tanks, you can see, yeah, they can go happily. They can see the building. Obviously, they can't see the guy hiding behind it. However, if we move around on the right hand flank, once we are past these woods, too far, you can see you can get a pretty good shot into the back of this guy. So my intent will be in the first or the next minute, be trying to screen out these woods and these woods with my BTRs, which should then hopefully allow us to move up our T-62s and put a shell into the back of him, or scare him enough that he drives out cover, and there are T-62s, put some shells into him, and that'll be the first kind of unpicking of the defences. Other known threats, so we do have one Patton still on the go. He's kind of lurking back. There's a kind of ridge in front of him, so he can't actually see our troops. We can't see him, but we know he's there thanks to some spotters we have at the back. These M113s, we've got 1, 2, 3 of them that we know about. They're nothing more than a distraction, to be honest. They can't harm our T-62s. I'm not even sure what kind of damage they do to a BTR. And also once we get sight on them, we'll happily take them out. I don't know, 50 cal might do some damage into BTR, but against the tanks, they're not concerned in the slightest. And then the other one, the two kind of, I suppose, real threats we know about is this cavalry variant of the Bradley, which is hiding back from a hill, so again, can't see anyone just yet. And then we've got one more parked on the far left-hand flank over there, which we have to deal with. But he's, again, we're in the kind of valley, he's hidden, blocked line of sight through a variety of hills. Now, I'm sure there are more American forces we don't know about, so we'll see what we can do in terms of scouting them first. But I think we're probably in position to run the first minute, so I've got these kind of guys screening. Ideally, I want to stay as far away from the trees as possible, because the closer I am to the trees, the more advantage I'm giving to infantry in terms of attacking with grenades, with their laws, and a shorter time for the dragons between launch and hit. Not that we've had any success thus far in identifying and taking out infantry after launching the dragon and before it hits, but theoretically that's their window of vulnerability. So if you can take out the, or even suppress the gunner, I suppose for want of a better word, but operator I should say, then he'll miss and you'll survive. So I think nothing else for it but to hit the big red button. Maybe I'll move forward and see where we end up. Ideally here we'd look for a quiet turn, as we're kind of just preparing our final positions, and loud noise indicates things have gone wrong. I think that's some seconds blowing up rather loudly. Oh, that's right, we're still getting hit by American air power, so we are bringing over, we've got our Tunguska just over the bridge now, so he's going to park up in these woods and hopefully deal with some of that. Okay, so we can see, oh, hang on, we can see 2 things. 3 things, things have happened. Many things have happened. Okay. Let's start here. I'm guessing you've got too close to these infantry in the woods. We've probably just grenaded you actually at this range. That sounds like maybe a law actually. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's fair. That was probably greed and wanting to get him into position early. But that's okay, we can very much deal with that. More interestingly is the fact that this guy has broken from cover. Oh no! We're actually probably ever so slightly too far forward, unless he goes up that road. What about our tank at the back? He's not in position yet. Oh. It's almost like he's chosen the perfect minute to break from cover. Meanwhile, we've got a spot of some infantry, including a man with a dragon. Who has spotted him? Ah, our scouts up here. Good job, scouts. So that's someone we very much want to take care of before our tanks roll much further. Okay, good. So, so we'll see what happens with this this Bradley. This is probably what the interesting bit is. Alright. Go on, go up the hill. I dare you. Okay, there's lots of gunfire. We'll have a look at that in a minute. He's not moving. Eventually, the tank coming up the back is probably going to see him. Right, okay, here we go. Come on, you've got a shot now, lads. Come on, take it, take it, take it. I mean, really, you guys just... Nah, just not sure. Ah, okay. Okay. A couple things did happen though. So you attacked... Who did you attack? Just a random soldier running around. Alright, fine. And I want to go back and check where the kind of lighter machine gun fire was coming from. I'm really disappointed we didn't get him before he ran away. That's incredibly frustrating. But we may have an opportunity to now. This infantry is dangerous, so we do have to deal with that. Okay, let's jump into command phase. So, things we need to do. So we know there's infantry over here. We're not doing a very good job of dealing with them. So I'm going to bring this tank. I want you to come out this way. You are quite happy to come over here. It's really going to be when we pop up from this ridge line is probably where all the contact's going to be. Less of a rush now because we know that guy has ducked off. I want to push my tanks forward so they can better see this chap. He's probably going to disappear off. What have we got over here? You are a crewman from a Patton, so I don't care about you. Well, it could be either the Patton or the Bradley that we knocked out earlier. That's absolutely fine. Where are you chaps going? And how can I put some fire onto this position before we expose ourselves to it? Probably using you. Right, let's get yourselves up into here, and then we can push around. I think where my tank's going, I'm pretty confident where my tank's going, not going to be an issue. Other thing I wanted to check was this guy at the back. Yeah, he was just too late. By the time he arrived here, the Bradley had already moved around over to the left. It's just, that was just terrible timing. And unfortunately that happens. Okay. You move around there, you move over that way. I want you to come and into support. Probably just quickly as you can up to here, and you can support on this left hand flank, and I'll leave you where you are for now. No other spots of infantry apart from they're vaguely in those woods which we knew about. Meanwhile, Tunguska has crossed the road and our reserve platoon is in place. Good. You are providing overwatch on a whole lot of nothing, so I'm actually going to start asking you to move out, and you might take a position up on this hill. So just get you walking, we might get you running slightly later on. I want to check tanks moving, Tuska's moving, and that's everything that we had left over there. Okay, let's push for one more minute. I think we should be able to do that live. We're going to have to start taking some more ground rather soon. Really, I'm assuming that's ooh, things are a bit exciting. Right, I'm assuming that's air. It could be something else. Oh, who got that? Who got that guy? Ah, it was you. Excellent. So you finally made the spot. And you went, see you there, mate. Nice. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, one less Bradley we've got to worry about. This is good. So they are repositioning. Quite a lot, actually. Looks like they're pulling back. Did we have a pop shot of this guy as well? Hang on. Or what? Something blew up over here. We did! Who was that? Oh, this guy. Okay, nice. Alright. Oh, they have broken out into the open. Interesting. So it does seem to be the Americans generally are pulling back towards the centre. Now that we've made it across the river, looks like we're going to put up a secondary line of defence, or a concentrated line of defence over here. This really interesting, actually. So I really do want to push as much as I can if they're giving us the space to play around with, and I want to take it. And they are hammering that line. Right, I want to get my reserve platoon away from this bridge area as soon as I can. Probably bring them up into somewhere like over here at least. Just because that seems to be obviously where the Americans are targeting. Cool. Let's jump into command phase. What we're going to do now is I'm going to put a quick cut in so I can go and spend a bit more time to read my orders. Generally, plan is going to be to, push up with this infantry. Probably try and get these guys over to Edge of the Woods so we can put some pressure on the US Marines here. Likewise, probably move these chaps and some of our BTR assets to put some pressure on him. And again, I want to, next minute, I want to get over the bridge with these tanks. Which could end terribly, but we'll see how it goes. Alright, I'll catch back with you once I've put those orders in. Okay, and we're back. The American artillery, or I think it's more precision-guided bombs, to be honest, airplane attacks on the ridge have actually been quite successful. So they managed to take out both of my self-propelled... No, not self-propelled. Recoilless guns, that's what I want to say. So they've both been taken out, as well as the last ATGM crew. So I now have, essentially on this ridge, the only thing left is one light machine gun. I have taken some light machine gun and obviously infantry off, but they have done a good job of eradicating my heavier assets. Less of a concern now, I've got my own tanks in play, but still upsetting. With the last LMG is pinned, so I don't know if he'll do anything, but I've also targeted these woods, just trying to upset the infantry that's in there as we close. Did I get you guys to move forward? No, I didn't. I do want to do that. Just to keep you guys moving up. Although, obviously nervous about dragons. We know there's one in about here. Okay. The right flank, I think I'm also very nervous about. They're going to kind of crest this hill. They are fairly unsupported. I think there's a good chance we're going to lose another BTR, and we don't actually have that many. So if we lose another couple, it could be pretty concerning. We shall push forward, and we shall see what happens in the next minute. I'd say push the infantry up just in these woods there to provide some cover if these guys do continue to withdraw. Otherwise, we're going to let's jump back. Just want to see that it's still at ridgeline. We continue to hammer. It is indeed. And again, I mean, our AT's doing nothing, so I'm not quite sure what's where they're coming from. We've now crested that ridge. Oh, hello. He's coming back. So we should have at least a couple of our tanks get sight of him. Because we had a pot shot him in that position before. Go on, someone see him. Yes! Ooh! No winner. That is a frightening amount of explosion gone behind me. Thankfully, they seem to be doing absolutely no damage. Or no more damage. Let's give them some credit. They've got a few kills. Hits the weapon mount is good. So roll this back and see what happens. Because even if we haven't killed it, which we haven't, you can certainly damage their weapons to the point they're combat ineffective. So we kind of looks like it's a machine gun we've hit. So that could be of action, but that wasn't really the main concern. Let us zip back, and hopefully we'll get another round off. Meanwhile, this guy has resolved himself to our scouts still. But we're bringing up some more infantry, so we should be able to take care of him next turn. And more importantly, no one over here has exploded, which I'm pretty pleased about. Oh, and we've got some sight of the infantry. Another hit to weapon and no penetration. Wow. So, interestingly, not the infantry I was aiming for. I was expecting to fight these guys. We're actually starting to lay some fire into the dragon team here, which is... I'll take it. That's brilliant. Right. I want to come over and see what we're happening with this guy. Apologies for the erratic camera work. No, actually we'll go back 5 seconds more. Again, we just hit that gun. It's definitely a different timestamp. T-62 crews aiming high. I don't know if he'll let us have another shot before he disappears back over the horizon. This is good. We've got a couple obviously mutually supporting tanks. We've got our BTRs now in action against infantry. As squishy as they are, he's now decided this was a bad idea and is running away. That is an insane amount of American artillery coming down here. There's more on its way. Oh, and we've got confirmed sighting from these guys. Excellent. So my infantry moved up in position, can now start to engage the American guys. Hello. And they may have no anti-vehicle assets left, to be perfectly honest, because most teams only carry a single law, which they used on BTR. Okay, I'm pretty satisfied with that little sequence. I'm going to have you continue to target these guys, because good things happen when we kill infantry. I'm surprised you chaps haven't been able to see. Well, they are just in that that divot there. So I'm going to have you lads come round to here. Quick might be a little bit ambitious. My plan is the BTR is going to keep them suppressed, or suppressed enough that allows these guys to get in position, that identify them and engage. A little risky, to be fair. One I think should be okay, because we've got another BTR we can bring up and support as well. Let's bring you up here. Okay, let's talk plan and I'll do the movements off camera. Right, I think the time has come for us to push this ridge line with our T-62s. I really want to be within the next 3 minutes, having kind of jumped the gap, or maybe 4 minutes. So then I've got 15 minutes to then push into the centre with my dismounted infantry. Likewise, when we continue to push these guys forward, I'm less concerned about betraying my rear, to be honest. We've got some good overwatch from our infantry, and if they've not shot me now, there's maybe a chance that I'm going to, and really kind of come in, just support on this right hand angle. And maybe eventually take this tank out, who knows. But I'll go away, I'll put in my movement orders, and then we'll come back as per usual. Okay, and we're ready to keep pushing on. So I did tweak the infantry orders of these guys slightly, so we're now going to just pop up into this house and put some fire down on one known area of these guys, just so we'll have essentially fire from both directions as our infantry closes, which should hopefully be enough to keep them quiet until we can close in and keep the kill. On the right hand flank, the T-62 that has been engaging this Pact, I've kept where he is. Hopefully once the smoke clears he'll be have visibility for a third shot. We shall see. Meanwhile, on our left hand side here, I've moved the 260s up essentially in line with the infantry, because we know that area is clear. I'm really hoping we get a lethal shot out here. We shall see. Lots of fire going out in those American positions. Patton is just running away. These guys have, looks like they've gone to ground entirely. And I brought up, I say, a BTR. He's going to do a little bit of guinea pigging for me as well. Wow, surprisingly quiet. That's a lot of fire going out in these action squares. But they are dangerous. They are dangerous. As long as the man with the dragon standing there, then bad things can happen. And look, he's still there. Oh, actually, that's... neither of those guys have the dragon. But they do remain dangerous. We should not write them off. Have you guys got sight of them yet? No. Have you guys got sight of them yet? No. I'll probably have to cancel this order just so we're not shooting across our own troops as we move forward. Okay. The question is when and how we want to try and bridge this gap. Let's go command phase. I'm happy with the progress we're making on this right hand flank, and I'm going to continue to push around. Don't want to get them too isolated though. And I think what we'll probably do is spend the next minute bringing these two guys up into the edge of the woods. And provided they don't see anything in the next minute, then we'll make the push across. And bring ourselves into kind of this position. And then we're going to bring up their infantry and dismount them from here. And then push through the town. In the last 50 minutes plus whatever change we get. That's going to be the plan. Good. Okay, so yeah, again I'm going to put another killing bullet to moving orders, but I'll come back and I'll talk through the orders I've put in place. I'd like to see before we get to the end of this video, as we get 10 minutes, we should be, is we actually have our infantry dismounted and preparing for the final push. So, catch you in a minute. Okay, orders in, and as in the real plan for this minute, will be getting our infantry and LMG team up to the edge of this wood, act as scouts, hopefully take care of the remnants of this team. I'm not really moving the TC2s in this turn this minute. Like I say, we'll stabilise over here and we'll push next turn. And we'll continue to drive forward a little bit on our right hand flank, where I'm probably walking into some element of doom, but you know, such as overconfidence. Let's hit the button, see what happens. So they are going to eventually stop that. We've still got the fire coming in from this right hand flank from VTRs. We've got these guys now hunting forward. Just one action square, because that's all they need. Oh, let's throw a quick... I was going to say throw a quick pause in there, but... I think that's just old crews we're seeing on this right hand flank. Right, quick pause. Have you guys seen these traps yet? How? How have you not seen them? They're right there. Okay. Keep going. Flash of blue, it's disappeared. Still not sure. Killing me, man. You're killing me. Well, all good on the right hand side still. Oh, someone spotted this tank. I'll have to look at who that is. What are you guys doing? Moving, spotting. Genuinely can't see these chaps. Seriously? Okay, he's surrendered. Excellent. Whew. We can go take him out next turn. Okay, slightly underwhelming end to things, but large volumes of fire has made him surrender. So who's got sight on this? You two do. Good. Nice little scouting positions coming into their force. He's parked himself quite happily in the middle. This could be their last tank. It's an interesting position. No, bum towards the enemy, but okay. Okay, good. So we're now comfortable that all the US forces in here have been neutralized. And so we can kind of make a push across. First off, you guys are going to come and receive these chaps' surrender. Just move yourself to there. To support that, we'll spin around and we'll get our BTR. Stop doing that. and we will probably get you to advance with everyone else. But more importantly is what happens on this flank. So first one in is going to be Canary BTR. And I think I will use the hunt command, which I've been leaning on quite a lot, as you've seen in the last couple of minutes, because I really do want to stop if I see someone. Stop, engage, move on. The unfortunate thing is, we're now going to have to split ourselves off a little bit, which is slightly unnerving. Because you lose that kind of fire support when you do this, but we can at least split them into 2 pairs, so we're not completely isolated. I'd rather they were together in a 4, but when we start also getting in towards this urban environment, that's not really going to be possible. So let's move our tanks up, and we'll have to start thinking about where we want to position them for actual urban assault and the available views of fire that we're going to get actually into the town for meaningful positions. Because it's all kind of uphill, ridges. What we might really want to do is, once we've secured this area, drop off our infantry, is just swing out left with our tanks. We know there were some other US forces over here, and then we can kind of try and push in from that way. Bit hedges get in the way, but we also know we've got some armour support swinging out right. So that might be the best way to do it. Infantry from front, armour from both sides. I mean, in my head that sounds good, but we'll see what that transpires into. So they are now going to push across that gap. Meanwhile, these guys are still doing a job for me. Oh, hello. Nah, not from ground title. Don't be silly, recon. That was just that was definitely pipe dreams. Right, you're going to continue to lead the line, and you're going to support. I'll let you do that quick, and then you'll come over here. Our last surviving recon BRDM. We'll bring these guys hunting in behind. So we'll swing slightly further right, just to avoid these tree lines, and then we'll be able to come back round with a view into the centre. And you're going to go join them. As are you. Excellent. I'm also bringing over in this direction the last tanks, which we have, or 2 of the last tanks. I've left 1 in the overwatch position for this hill, 2 I'm going to bring around. I'm going to get 1 up onto this crest to get a new overwatch position on that hill, and then I can free up this chap. I'm also bringing the Tunguska just to support, to be perfectly honest. Sure, you can do the anti-infantry role, but you can also use direct fire is useful. Meanwhile, let's just keep shuffling our PTRs forward with our infantry in it. I have picked up a 2nd light machine gun, so this infantry platoon has now been bolstered by 1 extra squad and 2 extra light machine guns for when they do the final assault. So, minute 17-16 will be to push tanks across, and then the next minute will be to push the BRDMs across, and we'll unload probably just 2. Maybe 3, and we'll keep maybe 1 in reserve. 2 in reserve, 1, 2, 3. And then, yeah, 1 in the machine gun reserve. I can do that, that's good. So we can got a little bit of maneuverability still. Okay. We'll get these guys as well, who are very soon going to be free and able to push across. Yeah, okay, so we have some more infantry there. Excellent. And obviously these guys as well, because they have kept up better than I was expecting. At this point we didn't get the kill on this pattern, but you can't get everything in life. Oh, I forgot to turn their target off with that light machine gun. I'll do that next minute, or else we'll start shooting our own guys in the back of the head. No new spots anywhere. Oh, it's strangely quiet. we'll go back. I want to find out if that was. Who have we got? Excuse me. And you look like crew member running away. Brilliant. More of them, please. So we know they've got two cavalry vehicles left. Number of M113s. In this pattern, whatever state that's in. And that's it. Okay, now we're at 35 minutes, but I said we're going to get you guys unloaded in the pseudo, and unloaded we shall. So I'm going to speed things up by putting a cut in. I'm going to grab the first 3, bring them over, and we'll be in position, and that we'll call this episode done. Okay, orders in. Let's push button and make it happen. I've also had a bit of a cunning plan of sorts. Once I've dropped off the first batch of... I never cancelled a blooming target fire. See if we take a casualty because I'll be upset. That's because I'm rushing trying to get the video done. Anyway, once I've dropped off the first kind of row of soldiers here, I'm going to bring the BTRs back and pick up these guys. So we'll have a second wave available. And maybe they can come round to the right and give us a second angle on Neuhaus. I had a quick check in terms of visibility for this pattern. Even around here, just the way the ridge goes, we're not going to see them. I've also quite boldly sent one of my BTRs into more urban areas so they can be a bit more direct support for troops when we start pushing in. But really, everything has gone super quiet from the Americans. And there we go. Edge of town, unloading. 15 minutes left to go clear at this square. I think it's possible. So the plan is, I think I'm going to use these 2 tanks in a direct support role, essentially. Have these 2 guys swing out to the left, and I now have... I've not actually got, 4, but 3 are going to maneuver, and 1's going to overwatch that hill. And yeah, so 15 minutes to go. I'm feeling pretty good about this now. I think we're in a good position. We've got a good wave of infantry coming in. We've got a couple of good options. And their pattern is still parked the wrong way around. So if I can bring up a tank here, I can get a couple of shots before he can spin his turret around. I won't argue with it, but there we go. Anyway, that's going to do it for this episode. So we might, depending on how well it goes, be able to finish this next time, but we shall see. However, I do hope you have this one. As ever, any thoughts, comments, please leave them in the description. I really enjoy getting the feedback that I do. And apart from that, I will catch you all in the next one.